Mesdames et messieurs, the greatest festival of our contemporary society, the Olympic Games, is about to begin.
This is gonna be close.
Oh! They're all completely gassed! They've given it everything on the global bucket! Oh, yeah! No! Oh!
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant! But that is an Olympic championship.
Ready.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Keep the Flame Alive, the podcast for fans of the Olympics and Paralympics. If you love the games, we are the show for you. Each week we share stories from athletes and people behind the scenes to help you have more fun watching the games. I am your host, Jill Jarris, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Allison Brown. Allison, hello, how are you?
I'm a big fat liar.
How come?
Because when we were in New York and we were talking to some of the athletes, we talked about how I could still do a split. I've lost it.
No.
I did.
How?
So I have restarted my stretching regimen. I think it had to do with my foot surgery and now my calf and up to my knee. And I thought I could still do it, but I can't.
Oh no. How far off are we talking?
Oh, like 4 inches. But still, that was an absolute devastating discovery the other day.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh my goodness, because you are quite flexible. I will say that.
It's the only thing I have. I have no endurance. I have no strength. The only thing I have is flexibility. So that is going. I am devastated. So send in your best stretches for me to get my split back.
Right? Jackie Simino, we're talking to you.
I know I need you, Jackie.
Well, you might need a good floor to practice your splits on. And
This is true.
I'm so excited. We're talking today with Alise Kessler, head of volleyball for the FIVB, the International Volleyball Federation, and Lionel Arlin, the Sports Federation and Events Manager for Gerflor, the manufacturer of volleyball and many other sport floors at Paris 2024. But we are focusing today on indoor volleyball and all of the technology that goes into that floor, what we can expect to see in Paris, and also the legacies of these floors and how long they last. It's fascinating and so exciting. Take a listen. Thank you so much for being with us today. Alise, why does volleyball need its own type of flooring? What is special about the sport that a specialized court helps it?
That's a very valid question. So, as you can imagine, volleyball is a very fast-paced sport. It requires a lot of different skills. And in addition, it evolves from year to year. We see that the athletes are bringing on more speed, more power. They need to act very fast, depending on the skills that they want to excel. But specifically, there are a few key items, key standards as to why. So number one is the shock absorption. And this is one of the key criterias because there is a lot of jumping, there's a lot of diving involved. So the floor needs to be receptive of all those actions and accommodate those actions, and to minimize also the strain on the athletes when they perform those skills, and eventually also to release or decrease the fatigue that these actions and skills when being performed would give out. The other thing is the traction, which relates to the speed of the game, right? The players need to move quickly, change their position, change direction they're going. So the floor really needs to have a good grip and allow the athletes to react very fast. Additionally, of course, because a lot of skills involve a lot of balance, the athletes need to have a floor that responds to their body weight, that gives them, also adds additional balance options for them, again, to receive, to attack, and so on. And effectively, what we have found out during the years as well, obviously, the durability of the floor, because there is a big shock, there is a big pressure applied on these floors. The durability is also one of the aspects why this floor needs to be made of what it is and provide this durability. And all that combined, which is the priority for us here at FIVB, it's the priority for Gerflor. That's why our partnership works, is the safety of for the athletes, right? So all this is done to protect their limbs, to protect shock absorption and alleviate the stress on their bodies when they are performing at this high level. So there are quite a few things that go into why we need a floor of this quality for our top level high performance.
The brand of the floor is Gerflor. Is it a special type of floor?
So Gerflor is the name of the company. It's the brand. The type of the floor that is used for volleyball is actually Taraflex. Taraflex and the model, the performance, high performance model, is what we use at official FIVB competitions and such.
Would non-athletes walking on the floor feel a difference than, say, on a basketball court or any kind of other gym floor? Could they feel that sort of bounce versus durability?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You instantly feel whether the floor has the tension enough to support a spring or a jump. And same, you will also feel if the floor is too soft and therefore makes it more difficult to jump. Absolutely.
Will it be a special color in Paris?
So in Paris, obviously, we are working with Gerflor. We will have the top level product performance floors in Paris for all surfaces, because in the venue that we are covering 6 of them, actually, the competition floor. Then there are 2 warm-up courts as well within the spectrum of the spectators. So for the first time, spectators will be able to walk around and see the athletes actually warm up for their upcoming Olympic match, which is extremely exciting. Plus, in that same venue, we also have the training court. And all these surfaces will be covered by Gerflor product. Now, unfortunately, I cannot reveal the exact type of the color of the floor. This is still kept as a secret. The team from Paris 2024 are preparing a little surprise. But what I can say is that the floor will blend in with the look of the arena, of the volleyball arena itself. So customized.
Now I want our listeners to take bets on what the color's going to be.
You can make your guesses.
I know I have guesses. I'm going to keep those, but yeah, I've got some guesses.
Lionel, we at least talked a little bit about shock absorption and other elements of the floor. What features does the floor have that make it specific to volleyball? And I'll say that, like, Allison, did you play volleyball in school
Just
growing up?
Yeah, right,
Gym
in high
class?
school, and we just played on the basketball court.
Yeah. So what makes I get that you want agility and being able to move, but like, what is it about a wooden floor that is no good for volleyball?
Well, I think that there is a major difference between a parquet wood floor and a synthetic floor like Taraflex. This is about the deformation. The deformation of a synthetic or vinyl flooring is about the point of contact. The deformation is only when the player is jumping and moving. The deformation is punctual, is only at the contact point. Whereas for area elastic, which are basketball floors, the floor is hard floor, does not deform. And the deflection area is around the player. So there's a very, very nice level of amortization and energy restitution, but it's only around the floor for parquet. But for synthetic flooring like Taraflex, it deforms at the impact, at the point of contact. When a player falls down, moves, jumps, lands, then he feels really the positive benefit of the cushion flooring, because we produce cushion flooring. So there is a depression of the cushion that really helps the player to not to feel the weight of his body, and the cushion deforms and absorb the weight of the body, and the cushion spring backs and gives energy for players. So this is the big difference in this product compared to the other family, which are area elastic parquet and basketball floors. Though basketball floors or wooden parquet are not so bad for volleyball. But for Taraflex, it's the best volleyball floor in the world because not only a capacity or to bring for athletes the best playing conditions, but also colors wise, we are able to duplicate the same colors for any production, for any event. And for volleyball FIVB, this is very important to have immediately the feeling that, yes, we are in a volleyball arena. The colors are the FIVB official ones, the volleyball world official ones. So it's very important for the spectator to recognize that this is their sports. So I would even say that, Alice, you said very well the definition of a Gerflor flooring. Safety, protection, comfort, it's very important for the players, especially when they dive, because volleyball is not like basketball. Each sport is very specific in its actions. And when a player dive, he wants to be protected. He wants to have a comfort with the body and the skin should be protected. And Gerflor has a specific, I would say, advantage. This is a smooth top layer, okay, with a small embossing. The embossing will help the player to have a balance friction when they change direction. But when they dive, they will feel that their body and the skin is protected, and it's very very good because they know they can play full energy. They can really jump far and dive far to catch a ball. So it's very specific in our range of flooring.
So as you're saying this, I'm thinking that you have really two competing needs. You have when someone dives, you need it to be very smooth so their skin isn't scraped off. But when they're on their feet and trying to change directions, you need that tackiness and that stickiness to keep them from lack of a better word, tumbling over, and it's just like playing on ice.
Exactly, and this is all about the secret of our floorings. How to balance two different feelings a player needs to have. He wants to be firmly attached to the floor, or he wants to. The floor reacts very well. He doesn't want to fall down to lose balance, but he wants also floor help him to express very well when he dives and he wants to pick a ball. So it's not that easy, and a floor is something very specific. An athlete sometimes would say, "I like the floor." I don't like the floor. Sometimes he doesn't understand. But when he doesn't want the floor, he says, I don't like the floor. I don't want to play on that. It's not so good. And when they see that a Taraflex gel floor is installed, they feel very well because they know that they can play at their best.
How does the environment of the stadium affect the floor? Does it change at all if it's humid or if there's a lot of airflow going in or too hot or too cold?
We produce floors, but our, I would say, obligation or ambition with FIVB is to bring floors, gel floor Taraflex everywhere. In Alaska, in Greenland, in Tahiti, in Russia, or in Spain, in Italy, wherever, in Poland. So we need to understand how also to support the installer or the fitter or the arena operator to install the floor. So humidity or ventilation is very important because if the players or the athletes sweat too much, of course, then when they dive or when they create some humidity, it's not so good for the balance on the floor. They might risk to fall down. So it's very important that ventilation or AC works perfectly, and we work in advance with the organizers to do that. Of course, there should be no wind or no, I would say, natural wind or space that will distract them from their play. It's very important to make sure that they have understood all, because every arena have their own infrastructure and their own, I would say, history. So it's very important to explain them in advance, to give us our guidelines, to support them, whether we are in one country or in another country. And even in one country, sometimes the perceptions is different. So it's very important to discuss with them. Also, this is very important to control the temperature of the inside the hole, because we produce thermoplastic flooring. It's a flooring that can be a bit expand when it's too hot and a little bit shrink when it's too cold. And sometimes people don't like to pay too much the heating system or ventilation, and they say, well, we will do some, I would say, reduction of cost, but we say, no, the temperature needs to be between 18 to 20 to guarantee that the floor does not change of aspect and, I would say, benefits. It's very important.
Because if it shrinks, does that mean like it doesn't absorb the shock of jumps or anything as well as it could if it had optimal temperature?
I would not say so. In a critical case, maybe a percentage of shock absorption could be reduced. I have done some events in Mongolia where they didn't have any heating system. So the temperature was 5 degrees or inside. So the floor was a little bit shrinked and it was not good. Very important to say also is that we install our floor as a temporary. They are not fixed for permanent. So I think we roll out the sheets or rolls of 18, 16 linear meters long, 1.5 width rolls, and then we tape the roll. So we stick the roll with double-sided adhesive tapes for the time of the event, and then we apply the game marking lines, the 5 centimeter official FIVB game marking lines, the white ones, to draw the volleyball floor and game lines. So, and this can also be sometimes a bit sensitive if the conditions are not respected inside the hole. So it's a very big balance to respect. I would say that since we have teams all over the world, since our floors are strong enough, robust enough to be rolled back after the event, reinstalled, that you can use so many times our flooring, which is a good investment for players, for I would say purchasers or clubs or communities. Everything is important, and it's very important to explain this to organizers. Most of the volleyball clubs, they know that.
How long does it take to install a floor?
Well, for teams which are experts, it can go very quick. But I would say that for the first time, we need 1 day and a half. The first day is to roll out the rolls, the sheets, wait until the tensions of the packaging or the productions are eliminated. And then after, wait for a couple of hours. And then the morning, the day after, we can start to tape and to draw the game lines. Whereas when the floor is already been installed first or second time, then you can maybe do that in 1 day. Depends also about the teams and the technical persons.
So the ends curl up when they're in the roll too long? When you're saying putting the weights on the ends, is that because it was stuck in the roll and it keeps that?
Yeah. The first time, yes. The first time, of course, because, a sport floor is rolled under a core box. This is the way we transport and we ship the rolls. And of course, it's important for the first time to respect that. But many clubs used Gerflor Flex for years and years. And they install it in 1 day, remove it a couple of hours, store it, and reinstall afterwards.
So you can see that there's a whole science going into this, right? It's not as easy as it sounds. And we are lucky with volleyball because, for the most part, we are playing in indoor venues, well secured. We get to control the temperature. But at the same time, as FIVB, we are striving to bring volleyball all around the world, like Lionel alluded as well. And we are going to places like Thailand and such, where the temperature control becomes quite difficult. And we keep pushing boundaries of trying to find these magnificent, iconic venues. So we've had cases where we actually held our events outdoors. And this is where it becomes tricky. And we have stories with working with Lionel to find solutions in the heat of Rome, for example. It is always a joy to find solutions for wherever we are to make sure that the floor is all right, because it is one of the key elements for our players to be able to perform at their top level.
Okay, so every answer you've given has made me write down about 6 more questions.
We are very happy, but it's very
So
good.
many things. So
we are happy to give you.
We're excited.
Are there different needs for the men's game versus the women's game?
No.
Okay.
In that sense, no. We are lucky as a sport itself to be a very equally positioned sport, not only in terms of our structure of events and the opportunities that we offer for the athletes, the athlete base itself, but also in terms of the game. The game differences are mostly in strategies, but at the end of the day, the jumps and the shock on the floor, the dives, actually the diving happens, I guess, more in women's volleyball, one could say. But all in all, in that respect, there is no different requirement.
Have athletes talked about going back and forth between, say, a generic wooden floor and this in terms of differences and adjustments they have to make in their style of play?
I think so. I think so. I think that when you, we have a lot of examples, especially in America, where the women volleyball players, they always had to play on parquet, and they like it. They like it very much. Uh, it's a wood floor. It's a hard floor, but they are used to play on that. But whenever they have the chance, and more now in America, we are pushing and promoting, and their love is to play the Olympic floor, the Tarflex. They love it, and we have so many examples where finally they acquire the surface. We provide them a surface, and then the reaction of girls are fantastic. They dive immediately when the first time they are so happy because there is this cushion floor. This cushion floor is makes the floor comfortable for them, and it's they would play at their best. They would be so happy. They are so happy, and we are happy to have success in America thanks to this flooring. But of course, a parquet where you can play basketball, volleyball, and many other sports. It's not your sport. It's not your floor. So it's when a community can get their specific sport floor, they are so happy. And volleyball, women and men clubs in America, their dream comes reality in most of the case now.
How do you clean it?
It's very easy. There is no specific, I would say, maintenance program. You don't need big machines. You just need to use. I don't know to say in English, but you brush simply, or you don't need a specific treatment or chemical treatment or machines. Also, this is due to the varnish we put on our flooring that on the top layer where we have this special embossing. We apply special varnish that really create a film, and this film will prevent the dust to penetrate inside the floor. So a volleyball floor is something very easy to clean, and there's no big program to do.
Usually done with a mop.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because I'm envisioning, oh, they put Mr. Clean on there and ruined the floor. Because,
no, them up. Yeah, this is the word I was looking for.
Has changes in play, like teams developing different strategies and play evolving, has that helped inform you on how to make technological changes to the floor? Because obviously the floor of 2024 is not the same floor of 1976.
Yes, exactly, indeed. Even though I would say the thickness of a tower flex between the last 25 years did not change too much. I think we will install a 7.5 thick surface in Paris 24, but I think in first time ever we did volleyball in Montreal 76, I think the surface thick was about 6.5. What has changed is the composition of the floor, the components inside. Of course, we are now so green in the quality and selection of the raw materials. Also, the smooth embossing has changed a little bit. We have listened to the players, and they wanted to have something more soft, more smooth, and also this what I used to say the varnish, what we call Protexol. It's a specific varnish that also helps to have a non-burning of the skin when you dive. So this was elements that we have added Olympic after the Olympic to increase the quality and the pleasure and the comfort of the athletes.
Yeah, I keep thinking with that bounciness, such a relief for ankles and knees and hips, that would just take so much pressure off the lower joints when you get that little that little bounce for you.
Do you find that floor-related injuries are less now with the better floor, Elise?
Well, it would be difficult to pinpoint, but we do know one thing, and this is again where our partnership excel with Gerflor, because we know that our priority to keep our athletes safe is also theirs, and they keep pushing the bar and they keep innovating and finding better solutions. I can definitely say that working in the FIVB environment, I work with a lot of retired volleyball players. And one of the key, definitely long-term injuries that they have sustained while playing and are now still suffering in their lives are definitely or most probably based on the floors that they used to play on. So we, with this aspect and developing the floors and keep monitoring the way that they are being developed and increasing the comfort for the athletes, we are truly hoping that we are making a difference.
What is the lifespan of a floor? Because you talked about how you can just roll it up and use it again somewhere else. So there's a good sustainability factor there, but how long can you keep using one floor?
I would say that if the floor is permanently installed, the lifespan is easily 25, 30 years. When you have a portable, reusable floor like a Taraflex for some events, clubs maybe use their floor for one match, for one event, for one game. So they transport the floor. And so depending the quality of the people taking care of the floor, I would say that you can have easily 50 times installation, 100 times. There are so many examples of clubs who really take care so well of the floor, and they can install and use it and enjoy it for many years, in many times of the year. So it's a very good investment also, because I said to you before, in 1 day and a half, you create a volleyball professional floor for a big event of 10 days or 2 weeks like Olympic Games or multi-sport games, and then you can remove it. It's not that easy to install as a temporary floor, a professional floor, if you understand what I said. So it's also depending on the, I would say, of the quality of the investor to take care of the floor, to store it well, to install with the right accessories, to keep the same people who know how to stick the floor. So, but the quality of the floor allows for many, many years.
I'm sure a lot of technology goes into making these floors.
We are generic name. There are some competitors, and we have checked their quality and the top layer, the grain, if they have a varnish, if they have the foam. The most important, and I think we are very unique in this, is the quality of the foam backing, the cushion. We have a two density foam. The part, the foam is maybe 5 to 7 millimeters thick, and it's in two parts. The first part of the foam is giving the shock absorption. Okay, the density gives very good, and I would say a very high level of shock absorption. And the second part of the foam allows for the spring back of the athletes. And so this is something that we have made as a patent. The first, I would say, point. And the second point is that we create a specific, the foam is composed of cells, and the quality of the cells is very important to ensure that the foam will play an active role for years and years. And we have a specific, I would say, a technology to allow the cells inside the foam to be in an oval, I would say, shape. And the oval shape will not scratch easily. So whenever you have time, welcome and see our factory, and you will see that we guarantee that the cells, the cushion, the deformation of the foam will sustain for 5, 10, 15 years. And when you do some measurements of the shock absorption of the cushion, you will see that after 10 years, we say that maximum 5% of the foam are a bit damaged. So the quality of the safety benefits of the floor is guaranteed.
We're going to be in France, Lionel. Be careful. that you say come to the factory.
Yeah. Please be.
Take him up on the offer. Absolutely.
Will.
Yes, it's important.
How do you test that then? How do you test for the durability of the foam?
This is a good question. So, of course, we've been a leader in producing such vinyl flooring for 70 years, since 47. So this is we have a R&D program and service. We have more than 30 engineers, and we have all the apparatus to control all the tests we want to carry out. Not only shock absorption, but also energy restitution. Or we have some machines that also measure the friction. And there is a pendulum where we test the friction of the floor. So there is a pendulum that we throw with a small patch of rubber, and then the machine will check how far or how short the pad will stop or go on to measure the friction, whether the floor is too tacky or too slippery. There are many things I could tell you about our flooring, but it's important to see. So welcome in France.
At least what happens to the floor after Paris 2024 is over?
Right. So after Paris, since we are going to be using quite a few floors to cover all the surfaces that we need to cover, there is one floor that will be donated to the French Volleyball Federation as a legacy part, and all the remainder will be returned back to Gerflor, and they will use it for purchase, allow purchase from French volleyball clubs. So this means that these floors will remain in France and will be used by our top volleyball clubs. And obviously, French Volleyball Federation is a key partner for us, and they also organize events. So there will be a very good use for this floor.
Yeah.
We are very confident.
If I may add something, the heritage is excellent with our deliveries. Everything will be reused, everything will be reinstalled, and everybody will re-enjoy. So we participate actively to the success of a big event organizers, investors, or city or countries, because nothing is lost. Everything is reused, reinstalled as a temporary floor or a school. So we are very proud of that, and the quality of the floor of two weeks will be outstanding. So we have already a lot of ideas around Paris. The greater Paris will enjoy all the floors, because in Paris we will not supply only volleyball, but many other sports also, and many other surfaces.
Oh, we know.
Can you watch volleyball for fun, or are you always looking at the technical issues going on?
Listen, it's always like with any profession, right? And it's not only volleyball, it's sporting events in general. You always look for technical similarities, for the performance factors, for all the things that we address in our daily lives. So, but it is always extremely exciting to see a high speed volleyball match. It is always exciting. It gives you goosebumps. The emotions and the skill. As I said, we are lucky with my team. Every day on a daily basis when we come to work, we confess that we're lucky to have this job. And every time when you arrive to the, let's say for example, final stage of, would it be our annual league or Olympics, and you see these performances where the athletes leave everything on the floor, it gives you a special feeling. You cannot compare it. So yes, when I watch a volleyball match, obviously I pay attention to everything around, but not exactly the action that is happening on the floor. So I need to remind myself often, so is focus. You are, something incredible is passing you by. So it comes with the profession. Yes.
To add to what Alise said, of course, it's my job to make sure that everybody is very satisfied. So maybe I have a professional deformation. When I enter an arena, I look And I said to myself, okay, perfect. Everything is okay. Or sometimes I see a little thing that is not perfect. That nobody will really sees. I would say, okay, this I know that I noticed this, and maybe at halftime or after the game, I would say maybe we can correct a little bit, maybe a tape or something. But usually, I don't have to do that because everything is perfect.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We are so excited. We'll be in Paris, so we were very
Okay.
excited to get to volleyball and see the floor in action.
Absolutely. Don't be strangers. Come and enjoy.
We won't.
We won't.
Welcome.
There you go.
Anytime. Pleasure. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alise and Lionel. You can follow Gerflor on Insta. They are at Gerflor Sports. On X, they are at Gerflor Group. Volleyball, you can follow the FIVB at their website, FIVB.com. They are on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Volleyball World. So in this interview, we talked about the color of the floor for Paris, and they would not let us know what it was. So what do you think?
I want it to be pink. I think it will be turquoise.
Okay, I would go for turquoise myself. And I think pink accents.
Oh,
But
that
it could
would
be pink with
nice.
the turquoise accents.
I was trying to think, going back to our conversation about the hockey field
Mm-hmm.
and how blue was such a good color on camera. That's why I'm kind of thinking, the turquoise.
Oh, I bet you are totally right.
But I
all right.
want it to be pink so bad.
We shall see, but those are our votes, listeners. If you have ideas on what the floor could possibly look like, let us know. We are flamealivepod@gmail.com. So also we've got Jordan Larson with us, who is a 3-time volleyball Olympian. She won silver at London 2012, bronze at Rio 2016, and gold at Tokyo 2020, where she was the captain and got the last kill to beat Brazil in the finals. She is going for Olympics number 4 at Paris. We got to talk with her for a few minutes about her career at the Team USA Media Summit. Take a listen.
So you're coaching now for
Yes,
Nebraska.
I am.
How is it going back to being a player while you're
Coaching,
coaching and
yeah.
switching how you think of volleyball?
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm definitely, I mean, I love the sport and I love just learning about high performance and how it kind of trickles down from generations. And I've been loving having the conversations, and I think back of how I wasn't as an athlete and like what I know now, what I wish I would have known, and how can I translate to them and help them learn the lesson sooner than maybe I had to learn it. So it's been so fun. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been more fulfilling than I ever thought. Yeah.
Do you ever want to look at your coach and say, what I do is...
I know. No, yeah, it's obviously working with John and some of the greatest coaches I've ever had, and how to build success over time like that. It's hard. It's hard to do, and to withstand is really incredible. So for me, it's just having the conversation and sitting down and learning. Always, I think always being a learner. Some of the best. That's what they always constantly do. So keep doing that.
You like process?
Yeah.
What do you like about process?
Just because at the end of it, then you're like, look what I've done, like when you really fall in love with the process, like you understand the ins and outs and the challenges, and like but then in the end, and I love this idea of like, I don't know, you want to try to live life without regret, and I want to get to the end of my career knowing that literally I have, I don't know, my grandma always used to like, wring out the water like in a towel. Like I want to like feel like my body, I've done everything that I am physically, mentally capable of doing, because when I get to the last part of it, I want to know like I have nothing left unturned, and I think I'll be happy in that,
Okay, speaking of bodies, we're old, so we appreciate
Yes.
you are what they call an older athlete.
Yes,
we
yes.
think it's great.
Yeah.
How is that with training and maintaining high performance level?
Yeah, it's I feel like I've just gotten smarter over the years as far as taking shorter contracts and understanding that getting in the weight room is really important. Obviously, nutrition, recovery is just sleep is huge, and getting a massage. I get a massage like sometimes twice a week, just because I know there's a different kind of massage. I get like sports massage, so like basically he's like beating me up on the table, but it helps so much. And again, I do different blood tests to help understand like where I'm deficient and how I can be better vitamin intake and things like that. So it's really evolved over the years. But for me, weight room has been huge and taking shorter contracts. So playing shorter amount of times, but really intense. And so having someone in an off season has allowed longevity.
So with the supplements.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay. So with supplements, you've got to be super careful with that, though.
Yes,
as
yeah.
well.
I wouldn't say supplements, but yeah, vitamins. But there are now a lot of NSF safe sport, so it's third-party tested. So we are able to, a multivitamin or things like that. We're able to do that, and then things that help us facilitate sleep or digestion, those kind of things. But there are a ton of supplements out there that help us athletes be at the best we can. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you so
yes,
much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. You can follow Jordan on Insta at gov1007. We'll have links to all that in the show notes. We have a special opportunity for you. If you enjoyed our interview with Joanna Garten and Samantha Schultz about Garten's book, All in Stride, and you'd like to read and review it on Amazon or Goodreads or Storygraph or other places where you can review books, please let us know. We'll send you a free copy of the PDF if you write a review for the book and help Joanna's book see more eyes. It's a really great read, and we'd like to help Ashok Flastani out and help her get more purchases of that book. God. Email us at flamealivepod@gmail.com if you would like to take advantage of this offer.
Ooh, maybe let's. One of these days, people are just going to write in and tell me how bad my French is. I know my French is terrible. I am trying so hard, though.
But what you can't see, listeners, is the joy with which Allison says all of these French phrases. Is she just beams as like, I have said some French. Yay me!
I said this before. I'm going to be able to ask all the questions and understand none of the answers because I rehearse it in my head. I see what our first Paris 2024 story is for every show, and I'm like, okay, what phrase do I know that goes? That's why I get so excited because I could come up with something that's connected.
C'est magnifique. Also magnifique is the fact that tickets are now available in the ticketing app. It is Paris 2024 tickets. You will use the same login that you used to purchase the tickets, and the sessions pop up automatically. So I did check this out on contributor Ben's phone because he had to buy tickets. Tickets will have a QR code that will not pop up until, quote, shortly before the session, end quote. Don't know what shortly before the session means, but since some of the venues are letting you in 90 minutes ahead of time, I would imagine it's a little bit before that. The ticket itself is pretty detailed on telling you what entrance to go to, what stand you're sitting in, block, row, seat, etc. The seat map, not so detailed, which is kind of a bummer because I would have hoped at this point, like when you buy tickets here in the US, for most venues, you can see exactly where you're sitting and you can see exactly what the stage looks like or what your view of the field of play would look like. Not so much here. I would really love to see that because I think people would have a lot of questions about that, and that would alleviate some frustration. So we'll see if they end up adding that on. You can also buy a souvenir ticket when you look at your ticket. So if you did not do that originally and are regretting that decision, you will have the opportunity to do so. So don't worry about that. Options to transfer and resell your tickets are there. Looks like a simple process. You just hit the resale button. You choose the ticket you want to resell. You hit continue and it is on sale. You can cancel that resale at any time. If for whatever reason there are no takers for your tickets, 12 hours before the session, your sale will be automatically canceled.
I hope they shorten that when we're actually at
I
in the session because some people will still want to buy last minute tickets and 12 hours for resale is a lot.
Right, you really have to know the day before, like, oh, I could go see something tomorrow. What's available? But there could also be we finished the session and I only did 1 ticket a day thinking that that would be I didn't know how long it would take to get around, and now I want something to do in the evening. Well, you would have had to figure that out by 7 in the morning. So, hopefully they can take that. I mean, it's technology. Stuff can happen instantaneously. So, we'll see if they end up making that a little bit shorter. Oh, also you can check out the ticket resale at ticket-resale.paris2024.org. So if you were looking to see what's out there, and there was a lot of stuff out there already. And there was stuff at pretty cheap prices, like under 100 euros, under 60 euros, but you'll be able to add on events. You'll be able to release tickets if you can no longer go. I think you'll find takers. I did see somewhere in the app that if you bought tickets for the ceremonies, they will arrive in the app later. That might be June. Cannot remember because I couldn't find it again once I saw it. And I did not see any tickets for sale on the resale platform either.
I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We went to a media press conference about the opening ceremony. And there's still a lot of things that they are figuring out as to where people are going to be, how they're going to be positioned, what time you have to arrive, and then how security is going to work, where you can and cannot go. So I think those opening ceremony tickets have to do with that because they want to tell you exactly what time, exactly what spot, because there will be multiple entry spots. And if you have a ticket for an area, you can't move.
Right. So they're going to kind of cordon off sections of the Seine. And if you're section J, you cannot go to entrance H and think you can walk down. It's going to be you got tickets for J, you go to J.
So be patient. And also, if you didn't think you could go, check out the resale platform and check out a lot of the hotel and Airbnb listings because I'm seeing a lot.
Right. We talked about how prices are starting to go down, and that's what Ken Hanscom has said. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Now people are finding out that they aren't going to get the prices that they want, and with lower demand, lower prices. So you might be able to find something.
Welcome to FIVB.
It is the time of the show where we check in with our team, Keep the Flame Alive. These are past guests and listeners of the show who make up our citizenship of FIVB, our very own country. Very excited. We got people to cheer for.
Yes, Corinne Lebecki is racing at the USA Cycling Pro Road Championships in Charleston, West Virginia, now through May 19th.
If you were there, there's a very good taco place in downtown Charleston. Very
Get
good.
your tacos, go cheer for Corinne.
Para archer Matt Stutzman has officially qualified for his 4th Paralympics.
Rob Snoke is covering the Canadian Olympic and Paralympic swim trials for the CBC.
And Dr. Victoria Jackson is the co-director of a new initiative at Arizona State University called the Great Game Lab. The lab will explore how the U.S. connects with the world through sport and the convergence of global sport, media, and geopolitics.
And I think we're going to have to ask Dr. Jackson to come back in our off year to talk about that.
Definitely, and see what's going on there. And, this show would have no flame if it wasn't for you, FIVB. So thank you, supporters. We would appreciate it if you would tell a friend about the show, especially as we get closer to the Olympics and Paralympics and people get more excited. Tell them, hey, check us out, and they can have more fun watching the games. We'd also appreciate it if you'd write a review of the show and find other ways to support the show financially at flamealivepod.com/support. So that will do it for this episode. Let us know what you think of volleyball surfaces.
Find us on X, YouTube, and Instagram at FlameAlivePod. You can send us an email at flamealivepod@gmail.com. Call or text us at 208-352-6348. That's 208-FLAME-IT. Chat with us and other fans on our Facebook group, Keep the Flame Alive Podcast, and sign up for our weekly newsletter with even more Olympic and Paralympic info for you at our website, flamealivepod.com.
Next episode, it will be 100 days until the Paralympics, and we will have Justin Fong-Savan on to talk about para-javelin. This involves extra poles and traveling with multiple chairs, and this one was tons of fun. He's a really fun guy to talk to, so we're looking forward to sharing his story with you. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, keep the flame alive.